Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you all for coming today. My name is Sean Campos and I'm with the Suits Consulting Group. We are going to be presenting today Service Opportunity Project for the spring 2013 semester. I'd like to first introduce my colleagues and their items that they're going to be presenting to you. We have Ivan Vaz, who's going to be talking to you about the primary research as well as the data analysis. Chandler Rose, who's going to be talking to you about the secondary research that we conducted on Austin organizations as well as the Holy Cross Vision Council. Axel Brave is going to talk to you about the findings and conclusions that we reached based on that research. And Travis Wilson is going to bring it home and tell you about our recommendations that we recommend for this service project. I'd like to ask that you please hold all questions to the end of the presentation. We will allow time for you to do that. So over the last 3 months, we have conducted extensive research, done surveys to try and build up enough information to gather a spring service project for the Holy Cross Vision Council. This presentation is going to tell you about some of the research that we did, as well as our findings and our conclusions and the recommendations that we made. As you know, the Holy Cross Vision Council, you all are established to provide inclusiveness with St. Edward's as well as the community around Austin community. You have an international perspective with a focus on the community as a whole to make the world a better place and, in essence, Austin a better place, with a focus on social justice and economic justice for all. The problem that you all presented to us was to try and find a service opportunity for the spring. So with that, we went into the community, SMB as well as Austin, found the information, and we will present that to you. The service opportunity is specifically for the purpose to help Austin. With that, I will pass it on to my colleague who will talk to you about the primary research.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As Sean just said, my name is Ivan Vaz, and I'm going to talk about the primary research. And first of all, in order to perform our data collection, we had to create surveys, and to create the surveys, we need to come up with possible clear questions, as well as questions that will help us to gather the best information possible. After the Cross Vision Council reviewed our questions, we had to calculate the 95% confidence level, which is the representative number of the SMB population, which is 1,650 members. And then we distributed these surveys to SMB members, which are the undergraduates, the graduates, the new college students, faculty, and staff, totaling in 313 surveys. As I just said, we had 313 surveys, but just 289 surveys were returned as valid ones. So in total, we had 154 undergraduates from the undergraduates, 77 from graduates, 47 from new college students, and 11 surveys from from faculty and staff. So now I'll briefly talk about some results, and I'm gonna show you some graphs that represents the results of our survey. And this first one, we have the participants' availability to work in a community service, and 1 to 4 hours was the most selected amount of hours per week, and the available time, most selected available time was once a month. And this one, it's the chart on the preferred groups, and it's evident the selection on disadvantaged and at-risk youth. And the next one is about the preferred age and in this case, the preferred age the people wants to work with is children. Alright, so in this one we have the preferred activities they want to participate in the project, and there are 4 options numerically close, and these activities are to hand out food, spend time and talk, physical labor, and teaching and organizing activities. And this last chart is about what motivates the participants to work on a community service project, and desire to help is what most motivates these participants. And now I'm gonna handle to my next presenter.
I'm Chandler Bros, and I'll be talking about, thanks Adam, I'll be talking about discussing our secondary research. Our secondary research was obviously based on the primary research and all of our findings, and as he said, our primary research showed that SMB students and faculty and staff would want to focus on disadvantaged youth, and at-risk youth, and hands-on volunteering. So I researched at-risk youth, and basically, as all the other groups said, at-risk youth is someone usually that's under the age of 18 who is just where their parents are unable to support them. They're beyond the control of their parents, and their behavior can substantially affect their health of themselves and the safety of themselves and others as well. So that's what makes them at risk. So then we researched organizations that would fit at-risk qualities, and there's actually a lot of organizations that focus on at-risk youth in Austin, and specifically we found the Phoenix House, which since the HCVC, our primary research that we found, the secondary research, we found that the HCVC always has a big focus on the community. So we chose the Phoenix House because they focus. They focus on the commitment of the community. And as other groups said, disadvantaged youth is described as anyone or youth that does not have the economic resources that others would have, and some of the things that at-risk disadvantaged youth may be deprived of are schooling, proper schooling. Disadvantaged youth are often formerly juvenile offenders. They might have a disability which disables them to perform proper tasks, and homeless who are obviously disadvantaged. As I said before, the Holy Cross Visiting Council focuses a lot on community, and so I'll pass it on to Axel, and he will talk about their conclusions and findings.
Thank you, Chandler, for that lovely analysis on secondary research. Good afternoon, my name is Axel Brave, and I'm going to go over the top the findings and conclusions, which is on the next slide. Okay. Again, my name is Axel. It's a little hard to pronounce, so say it again. So based on our primary research, which Ivan demonstrated, people obviously want a program that involves at-risk youth. I think we get the message on that: at-risk youth, at-risk youth, at-risk youth. They also prefer a hands-on activity, you know, going out, tossing the ball around, maybe helping them build something. And we, based on the primary research, most of the SMB surveyors or surveyed people are willing to spend 1 to 4 hours a month on a certain day to donate their time and their efforts and what have you. Yes, so based on our secondary research that Chandler spoke about, we chose the Phoenix House, or the Phoenix House model. This is because it fit your criteria really well. For example, the HCVC principles really coincided with the Phoenix House model's mission. For example, promoting social and economic justice for every individual and focusing on the local community. Those are big principles that HCVC expressed to us, so we tried to find something that could really fit that. But what I thought was pretty important and that we should highlight is that some of our members have worked with the Phoenix House before, so we know they have really good programs for children, and even the volunteers learn and get this better understanding about the children and how they live and how we can make them, help them have a better life. So to summarize everything I just said, our findings were based off our primary research we all did as a class and our secondary research Chandler went over. And we concluded that the Phoenix House would probably be the best bet, but I'm going to hand it off to my colleague who will go into more depth on our recommendations for you guys.
Thank you, Axel. Like Sean said earlier, my name is Travis Wilson. I'll be giving you the recommendations for our proposal. So to reiterate what everybody's been saying the whole time, obviously it's the 1 to 4, at least once a month, but with the option of participating once a week as well. Also, we chose to use the Phoenix House model just because on their website they specifically quote, they want to focus on distinct needs of every person, and they want to commit to protecting the communities affected by substance abuse and dependency. So with that in mind, we chose April 12th, which we know is kind of further along down the line, but we thought that by choosing this day, it's beyond spring break, it would give us enough time to advertise and to get the word out about implementing a certain service project that the SMB is trying to do. We didn't know whether we wanted to do it during the week or on the weekend. I believe April 12th was that Friday or Saturday. And we chose that obviously because we thought that people would be more willing to offer their time on the weekend. Some of the alternatives that we looked at, there's obviously tons of organizations that deal with all kinds of different things. We wanted to focus on the disadvantaged and at-risk youth, obviously, which the Phoenix House deals with every day. Not only do they deal with teens, but they deal with adults as well, which we saw was another group that potentially, if volunteers don't necessarily want to work with teens, some of the graduate students want to work with adults, they have that option as well. So why the Phoenix House? We chose them because they're conveniently located. They're actually within 2 miles of the campus, the awesome Phoenix House. They've been affiliated with some of the students. Some of the students I know have volunteered their time before at the Phoenix House and have had good experiences in doing so. As well as we spoke with the director, Kelly Garrett, and they were really excited about the potential of working with St. Edward's students and faculty and staff to come volunteer their time. She thought it was a great opportunity to partner up with the project with the Phoenix House and would love, obviously, the volunteers and the time and effort to work with their kids, teens and adults. So how would this work? Obviously, with the Phoenix House being a big organization and also dealing with types of at-risk youth on a day-to-day basis, and dealing with volunteers that come in. I know you guys talked about, is there any risk involved? We didn't check about like background checks, but we know that they deal with volunteers dealing with these students all the time, so we feel like that would be something that would be easily obtained by just asking them and figuring out what really we need to do to be able to volunteer. They also accommodate not only the trends of our surveys, but as well as your principles at the HCBC. And so we recommend, based on your criteria as well as the findings to our primary and secondary research, and conversations that we've had with the Phoenix House, that we go with them and we partner up with them later on next semester. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Sean, who will close out the presentation.
Thank you. All right, so again, I just want to kind of go over one more time just what everybody spoke to you about. I told you about our primary research, what surveys we conducted and what our results were. Chandler talked to you about our secondary research, the organizations that we looked into, and the findings and conclusions we talked to by Axel. He let you know what decisions we made based on the findings, and then Travis gave you our recommendations based on those findings. I just also, now that we've spoken about disadvantage and at-risk youth, I just want to give you a few stats based on this information. In Texas alone, there are over 116,000 arrests per year for juveniles, and with that, $150 million are spent each year just on juvenile cases alone. And other research that we found, children that actively participate in organizations and service opportunities are 73% less likely to commit a crime. So with that information, we feel that this is the group that we should focus on to help them better their lives. We now want to open up the floor for any questions that you will.
What is the recommended service on April 12th?
It's just a good starting date, so it doesn't coincide with spring break or finals, and then it's...
They offer multiple different things like the tutoring, as well as they have you can do recreational activities. I know some of the guys have already done that, where they've gone and just played soccer with a couple of the kids. But they have like the GED testing. They have all kinds of counseling, just mentoring as well. So we actually just spoke with them and asked if we could use them. We have researched them and wanted to use them as a potential partnership. So we didn't really get into the specifics of what exactly we would do. We just want to make sure that we have their blessing and using them as a model or someone to use in the future.
So the idea would be that there could be multiple visits there, right?
Right,
For
absolutely.
different purposes within this age group.
Yes, because some of the surveys showed that people would like to work only once. Others showed that they would want to work multiple times. So this sort of accommodates all. We could have one big service opportunity, and then if people want to go back, we've established that relationship and then continue this.
And we chose that date just because we thought that giving them enough time to build like.
Is this both after school and on weekends? Is there time
Yes, it
available
is.
for? Okay. And do they tend to have organized activities of different types at the same time, or are there certain things that happen on a schedule?
I personally went there and with actually the soccer team here at St. Ed's, and all the kids pretty much came out, and I don't even know who let them out. They let us pretty much just look over them, and we just played soccer with them for about an hour, and basketball and just activities like that. And
So that
I'm
was
not
on
sure
a
about the
weekend,
G.
like a
That
Saturday?
was actually a weekday. They were just
Okay.
so I'm not sure about the GED programs or anything like that. But as far as the sporting
What
activities,
time of day was it?
it was at about probably 7, 8 at night. It was
Oh, so, okay.
on a weekday.
And they have a list. I mean, they have tons of different activities that you can get involved in. From all kinds of stuff, from physical.
And again, 2 miles walkable, right?
It's
Right,
it's
not
right
far.
past Altorf on South Waters.
Okay. All right.
I have a question. I was kind of curious about how you decided who to give your surveys to, because I'm a faculty member in school management, and I never got invited to take any of your surveys.
Well, is anybody all right?
Actually, we left you out on purpose.
We did
left
leave you out on
out
purpose.
the Holy Cross
Okay,
Vision
okay.
Council on purpose.
No.
Okay. That's
That
fine.
was one of the exclusion criteria.
I just wondered, you know, like, was it a convenience sample? Was it how did you decide?
We basically, like we said, distributed amongst the groups, and then everybody looked at the sample of population that they could get a hold of. And it was 95% confidence, so since the faculty and staff isn't big as it is, it was probably the smallest sample size that we surveyed. We only needed about 5 to 10, whereas the undergrads were what we
But
needed.
actually, you
the
got
most.
18% of the whole faculty.
Yeah, I think you got 11 to 60 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you know from among these people who responded, how many were juniors, seniors, sophomores? I mean, if we have this coming up, do we know that there would be a group? We did all seniors, they're going.
Yeah.
We still have all these people, so do we know that?
Well, we did ask on the survey what classification they were, whether they were sophomore, junior, senior. I guess we could do a secondary survey to see who actually would be able to participate in this specific
So
volunteer.
no correlation between what seniors said or people did.
No. But a majority of them were undergraduate students.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, well, I want to thank you all again for
Thank you.
spending your time with us.
Look, on behalf of the Holy Cross Vision Council, our team, and we ask Allison to join us today. We have think pages out there now.
We do,
And
yes.
so you can go to School of Management and Business.
Think.stedwards.edu/business. And
Yes.
then from there, you'll be able to navigate on the
Yeah.
left-hand side.
So we have our Holy Cross Vision Council think pages launched, and we have some content on there. We actually have case study simulations, textbook, things like that you don't want to even think about right now. But we have a faculty resource and student resource center there. Look, thank you very much, all 4 of your teams. Thank you for the work that you did, the primary and secondary research, preparation of your slides, your presentation to us, and your reports. I'm looking forward to reading your reports. The next step for us is to take this information, this knowledge that you've collected, and we have a criteria checklist. I think that I shared that with you, right? And we'll use that as a tool, and then we'll obviously set and have a longer conversation between us, and then ultimately we'll go to the dean's office, and we'll say, Dean Kelleher, here's what we got, here's what we think we should do, here's why, and will you support us moving out on this? So when that occurs, you'll know. We'll announce it to the large population in the School of Management and Business and beyond, and we'll be real excited to hit the road in the spring and probably have multiple events, multiple activities going on to really show them what we can do. We're out there now at St. Edward's University showing this community and our world what we're capable of doing, and we intend, as part of the HBC, Holy Cross Vision Council, HCVC, to keep that going and show people that we really care and our heart is in it. So thank you very much.
Thank
And if you
you.
repeat your group, you get a trip to Disneyland.
Well, here we go.
And Catherine will be taking you.
And Mai is in my class going, there's 20 students going with Dr. Carter and myself to Japan in the spring. Mai's in my class, I know, because I saw her name and her picture on my roster. Is anybody else in this group going to Japan?
Chile?
And then in the sun, I have to do a little marketing pitch here.
You've got your
And so,
undergraduate.
They have to stay.
Nick just left, but Nick, you know, is the advising coordinator for all undergraduate studies. If you're interested in my summer Chile program, earning 6 hours and spending a month in Santiago, Vina del Mar, Valparaiso, Chile, here's a bookmark for you. If you're not interested, here's a bookmark. So certainly feel free to
But
take
on the,
them.
they're gonna do, what'd you say, ice, what? Ice?
Well, we're going up the Andes and do some ice. Well, it's going to be icy, so we're going to do rafting, zip lining up there, snow skiing up in the
Rafting
Andes.
on ice
We'll see how that
and
turns
snow
out.
skiing.
Yeah, how does that
But
work?
then we'll be down. Then we'll be down in Vina del Mar, Valparaiso, at the beach where it's warm.
Yeah.
It's winter in Chile when it's in June, so just the opposite.
Wow.
But if nothing else, it's a bookmark for you.
Super,
And
and
if-
you know,
if you're
actually those classes fit almost all business majors, so
Yeah, and I'm teaching 2 courses, doing business in Latin America and global business planning, and they'll fit 4 or 5 different major disciplines as substitution courses for you. So you pay tuition, you pay a program fee. Thank you.
Okay, guys, hang out for a few seconds.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I was like in my mind thinking, I hope you don't think that.
Listen, I knew I saw it. I realized I didn't have
Okay, so guys,
Didn't even look at my
is it off, Ivan?
No,
Could you turn it off?
I don't know how to.
Are you taking over my computer?
Yeah.
I haven't finished writing about you yet. You're not allowed to be sitting here, move
You
it.
took my zip, next chair.
I am, seriously, Sean, are you that attached to your chair?
Not at all.
Okay, so
Actually, that's Marshall's chair.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for your work. Thank you for your reports, thank you for your presentations. I had a really fun semester.